After World War II ended in Europe, the Allied forces quickly moved to capture those involved in the Nazi war effort. These individuals, from ordinary soldiers to high-ranking officials, were taken as prisoners or tried for the heinous crimes they had committed. Among the many who were captured and tried, there was a woman known for her cruelty towards Jewish civilians in concentration camps. This woman was Maria Mandl, one of the highest-ranking female officials at the Auschwitz-Birkenau extermination camp. Maria Mandl was born on January 10, 1912 in Münzkirchen, a small town in Austria. Her father was a shoemaker and her family was an ordinary working-class family. Little is known about Mandl's childhood or education, but she was raised in a modest environment. Her parents brought her up well, although her character later changed drastically to become brutal after joining the Nazi SS and becoming a camp officer. What motivated Mandl to join the SS and work in concentration camps remains a mystery. However, before beginning her horrific career in Nazi camps, Mandl had lived in Switzerland and worked at the Austrian post office in 1937. Maria Mandl's story with the Nazis began in her youth. During that time, she experienced several events believed to have influenced her decisions. Mandl was fired from her job at the post office, supposedly because she was not a member of the Nazi party. Not only that, her fiancé also ended their relationship for the same reason. After the Anschluss in 1938, when Nazi Germany annexed Austria, Mandl moved to Munich and decided to join the SS as an Aufseherin, or female guard, at the Lemberg concentration camp on October 15, 1938. This was the beginning of her dark journey. Mandl became one of the 3,700 women who served as guards in German concentration camps during the Holocaust. At Lichtenberg, Mandl worked alongside about 50 other SS women. Here, she began to show her brutal nature. Under the orders of head warden Johanna Langerfeld, she carried out various cruel tasks, such as beating female prisoners. A Holocaust survivor, Lena Haag, recalled how the prisoners in Lichtenberg would be punished for the smallest offenses. They would be stripped naked, tied to wooden poles, and Mandl would beat them mercilessly until she was exhausted. Mandl's fondness for using physical violence to maintain order among the prisoners quickly earned her a promotion, faster than other female guards. After the Ravensbrück camp opened in May 1939, Mandl, along with other guards and prisoners, was transferred there near Berlin on May 15, 1939. At Ravensbrück, Mandl again demonstrated her ferocity. This camp was led by Max Kugel, who had different views from Johanna Langerfeld on how to maintain discipline among the prisoners. Kugel preferred the use of beatings to maintain order, while Langerfeld wanted to implement strict protocols as a means of discipline. The conflict between them ended with Langerfeld being transferred to oversee the construction of a new women's camp at Auschwitz in March 1942, and Mandl replaced her as head SS Aufseherin at Ravensbrück. During her tenure, Mandl quickly impressed her superiors with her harsh treatment and became SS Oberaufseherin in April 1942. In her new role, Mandl supervised the daily roll calls of the prisoners, assigned tasks to other SS Aufseherin under her command, and often ordered beatings and whippings for anyone deemed to have broken the rules. Mandl even frequently participated directly in administering these punishments. However, Mandl's brutality did not stop at Ravensbrück. On October 7, 1942, Mandl was transferred to Auschwitz to Birkenau camp in Poland, where she became the SS Lagerführerin, or female commander, under the command of SS Rudolf Höss. Mandl controlled the entire women's camp at Auschwitz, as well as other women's subcamps. Mandl's power over the female prisoners was absolute, not only over the prisoners, but also over her subordinates. In the women's camp at Birkenau, most female prisoners were forced to work hard under very poor conditions, overcrowding, minimal food and clothing, and inadequate sanitation, all of which led to widespread exhaustion and disease. In carrying out her duties, Mandl showed favoritism to a young guard named Irma Grieser. The reason behind Mandl's favoritism towards Grieser, whether it was due to her work style or other factors, was never clearly known. But Mandl later promoted Grieser as head of the Hungarian women's camp in Birkenau. Many Auschwitz survivors recount that Mandl and the high-ranking SS women often stood at the gate to Birkenau, watching every prisoner who passed by. If any prisoner dared to look them in the eye, they would be immediately pulled out of line and never heard from again. Mandl was greatly feared by the female prisoners and was known as the Beast. However, beneath her cruel nature, Mandl apparently had a passion for classical music. She even established an orchestra at Auschwitz composed of inmate musicians. Heinrich Himmler, a high-ranking Nazi official, was reportedly very impressed by this orchestra, and Dr. Josef Mengele, a notorious camp doctor, was said to have cried upon hearing some of the music they played. However, Mandl's love of music was expressed in a horrific manner. The orchestra she formed was often forced to play music during the selection conducted by the guards to determine which prisoners were deemed unfit and should be sent to the gas chambers. During her tenure at Auschwitz, Mandl's character and behavior became increasingly brutal and inhumane. She often selected Jewish prisoners as her pets to be kept away from the gas chambers. However, once she grew tired of them, Mandl would send them for execution. Mandl was also said to enjoy selecting children to be killed. During her time at Auschwitz, Mandl was estimated to have been involved in signing orders that sent around 500,000 women and children to the gas chambers. For her services in performing her duties, Mandl was awarded the War Merit Cross, second class, by the Nazis at that time. In November 1944, she was transferred to the Mühldorf subcamp of the Dachau concentration camp. As the war neared its end, many concentration camp guards and Nazi officials attempted to flee, trying to erase their tracks by destroying important documents. Like them, Mandl also fled to a safe place to avoid capture by the Allies. In May 1945, Mandl fled from Mühldorf to the Bavarian mountains, intending to return to her birthplace in Münzkirchen. However, upon arriving at her home, her father refused to help her hide, so she turned to her sister for shelter. Even so, her escape attempt did not last long. Mandl was captured by the United States Army on August 10, 1945. During interrogation, Mandl was considered highly intelligent and showed great dedication to her work at the camp. She was detained for some time in a former cell at Dachau before finally, in November 1947, being tried by the Supreme National Tribunal in Krakow, Poland, at the Auschwitz trial. However, in the record she wrote in prison, Mandl attempted to justify her actions by saying that, as head guard, one of her priorities was to create order and discipline. Nevertheless, Maria Mandl was found guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced to death by hanging. Finally, on January 24, 1948, Maria Mandl met her end at the gallows, and her body was donated to medical science. And that's the horrific story of the beast Maria Mandl. Thanks for watching and see you soon.